The street was quiet. A soft wind moved across the lawns, porch lights glowed against the darkness, and the sound of distant traffic hummed through the neighborhood. It was the kind of night where nothing ever happens. Until it does. At 11:42 p.m., a scream ripped through the calm, sharp, sudden, followed by the violent crack of a door bursting open. That was the moment everything changed. When officers arrived, the scene felt wrong immediately. The front door wasn't just broken, it was destroyed. Splintered down the frame, kicked inward with enough force to shake the whole house. Inside, chaos covered the living room. A chair overturned on its side, a lamp shattered on the floor, cushions scattered like someone had fought for their life, and in the center of it all, silence. Detectives moved carefully, flashlights sweeping across the room. They followed the signs of a struggle, scuff marks on the floorboards, a knocked-over table, drawers ripped open. Whatever happened inside that living room didn't take long, but it was violent. At the end of the trail was Lauren Pierce, 27 years old. Quiet, kind. She lived alone, worked a steady job, and had no history with anyone dangerous. She should have been safe. But nothing about that night was normal. The bruises on her arms, the marks on the wall, the overturned furniture. She fought hard enough to leave fingerprints smeared across the edge of the hallway doorframe, and drops of blood under the broken vase near the stairs. But she didn't stand a chance against multiple attackers. Outside, fresh tire marks tore across the road. Deep grooves in the pavement showed how fast the truck accelerated. The neighbors who called 911 said the engine roared like someone fleeing a crime scene. Within seconds, Lauren was gone, dragged out of her own home by people who had no idea they'd taken the wrong person. Detectives canvassed the street. One neighbor mentioned a dark pickup idling near the corner for nearly 20 minutes earlier that night. Engine running, lights off, a figure inside, unmoving, watching the houses, watching her street, watching her life without her ever knowing. At first, the motive made no sense. Lauren had no enemies, no threats, no conflicts. She wasn't involved in anything dangerous. Nothing pointed to her as a target. But as detectives dug deeper, a chilling truth surfaced. 2 houses down lived a man with a violent criminal past, someone who owed money to a dangerous group, someone who had been warned that people were coming for him, someone who should have been the target. But in the dark, in the chaos, the attackers kicked down the wrong door. Lauren was taken because of a mistake. Not a vendetta, not revenge, not a personal conflict, just a mistake that nearly cost her life. Investigators pulled traffic footage. At 11:49 p.m., a dark pickup blasted through the intersection 3 blocks away. Camera footage showed it swerving, headlights shaking, the driver speeding like someone panicking. A minute later, another camera caught the same truck exiting onto an industrial road, leading toward abandoned warehouses and construction lots. That area was a maze of shadows, the kind of place where evidence disappears fast. If you're still watching, you already know. These stories don't let go. Subscribe, and I'll take you deeper into the shadows. Officers found the warehouse within the hour. The metal door was slightly open, swaying with the wind. Inside, the air was cold. Dust hung in the beam of their flashlights. And on the floor, zip ties. Some unused, one broken. A metal shelf tipped on its back, a boot print in the dust, and Lauren's cell phone, crushed near the wall, screen shattered. A homeless man sleeping nearby told officers he heard shouting inside the warehouse. Multiple voices, a woman crying, and 4 words that made detectives stop cold. It's the wrong one. He didn't know what it meant then, but detectives did. Realizing their mistake, the attackers panicked. They argued. One insisted they couldn't take her back. Another wanted to abandon everything. And in that moment of chaos, Lauren escaped. She ran into the night with zip-tied wrists and no shoes. She disappeared into the darkness of the woods behind the warehouse, injured, terrified, but alive. The attackers split up instantly. One fled into the trees, one sped off in the truck, the other stayed behind to clean up the scene. But he never got the chance. As soon as officers arrived, he tried to run. The chase was frantic, footsteps pounding through the brush, flashlights cutting across the yard, officers shouting commands. They caught him near the loading dock, gasping for breath. He cracked almost immediately. Fear poured out of him like sweat. He told detectives they were never supposed to hurt her. They were targeting the man down the street. They planned it for days, watched the houses, counted the doors, but in the dark, they miscalculated, and when they realized the mistake, they panicked. They dragged her into the truck because they didn't know what else to do. With the confession secured, the search for Lauren became a race against time. Helicopters scanned the woods. K-9 units followed her scent across narrow trails. Officers shouted her name into the darkness, hoping she could hear them. Every minute felt heavier. Every second felt like it mattered. At 4:12 a.m., a K-9 unit jolted to a stop near a ravine. Officers rushed forward, sliding down the muddy slope, and there she was, curled near the base of the hill, shivering, bleeding, exhausted. She had crawled across rocks, through thorn bushes, and down into the ravine with zip ties cutting into her wrists. She barely had the strength to speak. But she was alive. She survived a night she never should have been part of. A crime aimed at someone else. A revenge plot that went horribly wrong. A nightmare built on a simple mistake. One house number off, one wrong door, one innocent woman stolen away from the life she knew. Within 24 hours, all suspects were in custody. The real target was moved into protective custody, and the neighborhood that once felt safe learned how fragile safety can truly be. Because sometimes danger isn't meant for you. Sometimes it comes by accident. A wrong turn, a wrong address, a wrong house, and an innocent life caught in the middle. For more high-action documentaries, real investigations, and the cases that refuse to stay silent, subscribe. The search for truth never stops.